Hello, YouTube. It's Fear. Let's get it going. Tori Howard, the educator, here to educate you. Let's get the other one started. I got to start off with a smile, a hard one. It is Real Estate Tuesday. It's a great day to have a great day. Happy, tantalizing, terrific, triumphant Tuesday. I'm late, but I'm here. So, I am Toria Howard, and I am the real estate educator here to educate you. Hey, Jason. I educate individuals and families on how to increase their financial IQ in order for them to invest in themselves, to purchase a personal property or investment property. So wherever you are, whatever you need to do in your real estate, dreams, your goals, all of those different types of things, I got you. So, um, I have two ebooks as well. One called Journey to Your Castle for first time home buyers, showing you how to go from concept to mindset because your mindset has to change all the way to the closing table. And I also have one for homeowners called House Rich and Money Smart, how to turn your home into a wealth building powerhouse. So definitely cop those. But today we're talking to the first time home buyers and the ones who just purchased a home, right? So you bought the home, you're a homeowner now. Now, what do you do next, right? People are got this narrative out there that you cannot build wealth with, owning your home is debt and different things of that nature. But that is a myth. You just have to have a financial plan. Now, it is true if you do not have a financial plan and you do not have a way for you to move it from a liability asset. But I'm going to give you 5 moves to build wealth in a year by being a homeowner. So let's talk about it. So, most people think that buying a house is the finish line. That's what I thought when I bought my first home. I bought my home in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm from Detroit, but I bought my first home in Memphis, Tennessee. It was a 4 bedroom, 2.5 bathroom house, and 2,700 square feet. And it was a dream come true because that was my first starter home. I fumbled my first starter home, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms. People don't start off with that much house that quickly. Like I had a huge kitchen, separate dining space, a huge living room. Like my master bedroom was dope. Like we had a jacuzzi tub, we had the shower, we had the double vanities, we had his and her closets. It was listen, we had it all. And I fumbled it. So I'm passionate about this because I fumbled my house. I don't want you to fumble yours. So when in reality, it's the starting line. And that's what I thought. I thought me just buying a home was it. That was done. I was cool, whatever. But in all actuality, no, it was not. I'm going on my hair, Lord. But if you just bought your first house, congratulations, by the way. But nobody told you what to do next. And that is how you build wealth, save money, and protect what you just invested in. This is the live for you. And I'm going to show you that. So today I'm going to be breaking down 5 wealth moves every first time home buyer, every first time homeowner should make in one year. And if you are a homeowner, you can still do these things. So turn your home. The first thing is this: turn your home into a financial system. Budgeting after closing. I tell people every time, I tell my clients every time, or potential customers, about customers that are soon to be potential clients all the time, know your numbers. Know your numbers. Know what you can afford when it comes to tax, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, utilities, and your maintenance fund. Those are the 6 things that you need to have budgeted before you even buy a home. You need to know all of those numbers, a guesstimation of what's comfortable for you. So your financial life changes after home ownership. Taxes, insurance, utilities, maintenance, all of those things are on you. So you have to make sure you have a financial plan. So most new homeowners stay house rich and cash poor because they do not restructure their budget. You have to restructure your budget after you buy your home. You have to. Anything that you do that's a slight move, or you level up, you have to do something. You have to level up your strategy. So make sure that you understand that it's not just buying a house, it's in everything. So wealth starts with control. You have to have control. So for example, if you if your mortgage is only part of the cost, so utilities, water, gas, lawn care, repairs can be added $300 to $700 a month. So if you know that you can afford $2,000 flat, then that means you need to be buffering that your mortgage should be no more than 15 to 1700 to pay for all the other things that you will have to purchase, have when you have your home. So I recommend new homeowners to create a home budget with 4 categories: living, lifestyle, home saving, and wealth. Because your lifestyle should not change because you bought a house, and your living circumstances shouldn't have to change because you bought a house. You need to understand the 4 categories that I tell my clients all the time. You eat these 4 buckets: living, lifestyle. Because I know we all love the lunches and brunches and going out and enjoying ourselves, getting our hair done, getting our nails done, getting our hair cut, buying clothes. All of those different things have to be factored in because you don't want to lose that because you bought a house. Because you could have just rented for that matter. So that's why people have so much trouble when it comes to buying, because they leave out their lifestyle part. They want this luxurious house and all that. The thing is, getting in the house, you can make it luxurious on your own. But make sure you don't leave out your lifestyle, your home savings, and your wealth, because you have to use that house to build wealth. So these are some action steps that you could take. Build a new homeowner budget. Before you become a homeowner, know your numbers. Call the utility company. See what they can give you as a guesstimation, especially here like in Michigan and colder states. You know that your utility bill from November to about April is going to be high in gas. The gas is going to be higher. Especially in the months of December, January, February, and those first few weeks of March here in the other, northern states. If you live in a hot climate, you know that your peak, your electric going to be higher when it's hotter outside, especially if you live in the Floridas, the Texas, the Louisianas, because New Orleans is, whoo, Lord. New Orleans in July, baby. Oh, I never experienced nothing hotter. That was hotter than Vegas. I'm sorry. When we went to Essence, woo, but that's off the subject. But I'm just saying. So know your utility costs by calling it, just getting the estimation so you'll know, and then go a little bit above. So then you will have a buffer. Know how much you can afford as far as your mortgage is concerned. So if you can afford $2,000 rent and you're paying and utilities on top of that, then you probably can afford the $2,000 in mortgage. But if you know that 2,000 plus your utilities is a stretch, then you need, and that's probably like 2,400 a month, right? Total guesstimation. So that means you need to take your mortgage should be around 15 to 1,700, so you can buffer in that other 4 to 500 so that you can have that extra. And then open a separate home account for repairs and reserves. Your reserve should be 1% of your home price. So if you buy a home for $250,000, once a year, you should have $2,500 every single year. And once your home value goes up, of course, that has to increase. So you need to make sure that you're understanding how that works. So you just have to put in different factors to do that. The second thing you got to do is protect your credit like an asset. Credit building after buying. You want to build, the house helps you build your credit. A lot of people think that they don't have a perfect credit score. You got to have a 700, 750, 800 credit score to buy a house. You don't. You actually only need a 580. Some places will get you qualified with a 500, but you got to have your own money. So if you're looking for first-time home buyers, thank you so much, Brittany. Thank you for joining me too. If you are looking to buy a home that's below a six, if you have below a 620, 650, you can't, in some instances, can't use first-time home buyer incentives. Now, there are certain banks that do it at a 600. There are certain banks that might do it at a 580, but your interest rate will be higher. So you need to ask those questions. But some places you can buy a house for 500 credit score. You just need to have your own money, bring it to the table. So that's the only thing about that. But if you want first-time home buyer incentives, it's usually 620 to 650, sometimes 680, depending on where you are. Ask a mortgage, get with a mortgage professional. That somebody just popped in there. Get with a mortgage professional and ask them these questions. Do they know how to stack for assistance programs? If they don't know how, they don't have what you need, then you need to go. There's multiple lenders out there. Before you give them the information, you need to know how they can help you because they work for you and they will make or break your deal. So you need to ask what type of programs they offer. Can they stack things? Do they have incentives? So the whole point in that is making sure that you have, people think you got to have a perfect credit score. You don't. But your credit didn't after closing doesn't retire, it levels up. So that adding a home to your credit report actually gives you an installment account on your credit history, which is a 30-year installment, but it don't have to be 30 years. You can pay your mortgage down quicker than 30 years. That's another story for a different day. If you got any more questions about that, you can ask, but you don't have to pay. You don't have to be 30 years. You just have to have a financial plan. So the next thing that you want your credit to stay up for is, your next rate. Maybe you can get a decrease in your interest rate once your credit goes up. And then maybe you want to refinance. I will only suggest a refinance if you plan on staying there longer because your mortgage starts over. If you plan on moving for 2 to 3 years, unless you're going to use that property for an investment property and let the rent pay that's going to be accumulated, pay that refinance, then refinance. But if you're going to be moving in 2 to 3 years, don't refinance. And a HELOC, a home equity line of credit, can be used for maintenance on your home, to revamp a bathroom, refresh something, whatever, or you can use it for investment opportunities to start a business, to pay to pay into the stock market, buy crypto. You can use your home, but you got to have the credit to get that line of credit. When do you look to refinance for a lower interest rate if you're going in with a higher interest rate? You look to refinance. So refinance is only if you're going to stay in the home for a long extended period of time, because of the fact that you're going to start over from zero. You're going to start over from zero. So you need to make sure that if you're going to refinance, you have to have the credit score. Typically, the credit score has to be like 650, 670. Some places want you to have a 700. Some want you to have a 680. Chase Bank in particular wants you to be above that 700. So that depends on your bank. But if you are planning to stay in your home for a long extended period of time, refinance. Or if you plan on keeping that home and making it into an investment property, and you're going to have that rent, pay that mortgage to get that lower rate, then that's what you'll do it. But you only do it when you're going to stay in there for a longer steady period of time. If you know this is a starter home and you just want to get in there to help leverage to get something else, don't refinance because it's going to start over. You don't want to do that because you can always get a lower rate by negotiating with your mortgage company and calling them. If you have the credit score, though, you got to have a credit score. That's a great question. So the first 12 months matter the most. So this is how you build your credit and increase your credit within that first year, by making sure that you maintain. Now, the trick about a mortgage is you have, which is I'm not telling you to be late, but most mortgage companies give you between the 1st and the 15th to pay your mortgage. You don't get that long rent. After the 15th, you start getting, after 30 days is when the late payment comes, but you start getting late notices, and then you will have an upcharge, usually a late fee on your bill. So, but that is something you have to discuss with your mortgage company. But typically a mortgage, you got between the 1st and the 15th to pay your mortgage. But one late payment though could drop your score 60 to 100 points. So you don't want to go past 30 days not paying your mortgage. Now you don't want to do that. If you raise your score from a 660 to a 740 plus, that could save you tens of thousands of dollars in interest in the future. So once your credit score increase, you call your mortgage company, like, hey, listen, run my credit again, see if I can get a lower interest rate because my credit score went up. You can negotiate this because they want their money, regardless of the fact. So, I just found out a couple months ago that you can negotiate your rent. I just told my best friend that, and she didn't get an increase on her rent. Because the thing is about that is, if you have not done any improvements, if I'm not in a remodeled unit, there hasn't been any upgrades, why is my rent going up? So that's another story for a different day. So here are some action steps that you can take for making sure that you increase your credit during this time. So set all housing bills on auto pay, right? All housing bills on auto pay. Okay. Keep credit utilization under 30%. That's your credit card. So if you have credit cards, you want to keep them under 30%. Now, if you're first time home buyer, you want your credit utilization to be 6 to 7%. So within those, they're going to ask for like 3 months of bank statements. So within 3 months, 90 days, y'all, keep your credit cards down 6 to 7%. You should only be using your credit cards for things you already had the money for anyway. Groceries, gas, paying your cell phone bill, paying your internet bill, stuff that you already gonna have to pay for anyway. That's what you use your credit cards for. You don't use your credit cards for nothing else besides things you already had the money for, because you can pay it right back off. I had a client paying his rent on his credit card, but he had a $10,000 line and he just paid his rent on there. But he knew he was gonna have his rent money, so he paid it with his credit card, and it gave him more advantages, because they like, oh, you spending $2,000. It don't matter what you spending on, as long as you pay it back and you spend it. They spend it, pay it back, spend it, pay it back. Of course, they want you to run it up so they can run the interest up on you, but they're going to keep on increasing your limit because you keep using it. So always use it for stuff you have the money for. And avoid unnecessary furniture and store car debt. Jesus Christ. Let's not. Now, they go trick you. When you first get your home, they go trick you with that. Oh, you could get 12 months, no, 0 interest. But yeah, read your terms. When you get to that 12-month mark and you wait, oh, all those payments and the interest that you did not pay, oh, it's going to be doubled at the end. And you're going to have to owe. So if you might have spent $3,000, you're going to owe them folks 10 by the time you get finished. So make sure that if you're getting furniture, doing all that, talking about some no payments, no interest for 12 months. Pay that bill. Pay that bill. Pay that bill with 0. Because when they tack on that 30% interest on you on the back end, then you're going to be regretting it. So the third thing you need to do, so those of you just popping in, I'm talking about 5 wealth moves that you can do in order to turn your house from a first-time home buyer, how to turn your home into a asset instead of a liability. So build equity on purpose, not just by accident. This comes with buying right. You have to buy in areas that are going to appreciate drastically. So you want to look for areas that are appreciated in value. So typically around the nation, average appreciation is 1 to 5%. Some neighborhoods in Detroit, in the city of Detroit, are increasing 7 to 10%, some even 15% appreciation year on year. But you have some on the outskirts, you get a 20, 29, 25% appreciation. So you have to buy where businesses are going, restaurants, things that people like to do. Like whenever you see a Chick-fil-A going up somewhere, just know you need to buy real estate over there. Chick-fil-A definitely is a real estate marker, because they do not put their stores where they will not have foot traffic. And they're not going to put their stores where there's not appreciation. So anytime there's a city landmark, any type of developments, big companies coming in, grocery stores, any type of things like that is coming into a development area, buy in that area because your equity is going to shoot up. But the only thing about that is your taxes are going to change, because once your house, increases in value, your taxes change. So, you just have to buffer for that. So equity is a wealth engine. Appreciation is passive, but the strategy is powerful. So, for example, you're paying even like $150 extra per month can remove years off of your mortgage and build equity faster. And that's what I was talking about when you're paying your mortgage off faster. You can do this by just adding an extra little bit. You also can trick the system by, like I said, typically you have between the 1st and 15th to pay your mortgage. Pay half on the 1st, and then that second payment before the 15th, pay a little bit more. You're going to eat that interest down. And that's the point. So, or if you got the extra money, say for instance, if you get a tax return, you get that bulk of money, take that bulk. Don't ever take a bulk of the money and put it on a house up front. Do the lowest minimum and put it on the back end. That cuts your mortgage down. So if you get like bulk money, if you get a lot back in taxes, put that on your mortgage to cut your mortgage down. You ain't got to put the whole thing on there, but figure out how, say for instance, because you have a schedule. They give you a amortization schedule with, that's what their mortgage bill is called, and they show you how much your interest is. How you'll have a chart. It's gonna have numbers 0 to 200 and whatever, and it's gonna say interest payment, and it's gonna say principal. Your principal is gonna be less than your interest, and if you pay an extra principal payment every month, if you can for a couple years, then you can chop that mortgage in half. You might pay it off 15 to 7 years. So those are some things, and that builds your equity quicker. So equity comes from appreciation and you lowering your mortgage. So the more you lower your mortgage and your appreciation goes up, the more that's that equity that sits in between that you can take and use for different things. So smart upgrades help with improving equity as well, like paint, flooring, landscaping, kitchen increase. The kitchen remodels are the biggest appreciation that you can get in a home. That gives you 50 to 70% appreciation. Plus bathrooms, either adding a bathroom or touching up that master bathroom. Because even though people hate cooking, they want a good kitchen, regardless of the fact. It's crazy how that works. People still want a good kitchen. So that's why it's an added value. And you need to understand, like, having a good kitchen does that. So it actually, that's just the core standpoint, because a kitchen adds value, better value, and also the master bathroom and flex spaces and your uh, curb appeal. Those add the extra value. So you need to be looking into that. So action steps that you can make one extra principal payment a year. If you can't do it every month, do it a year, for once a year. And once you get your tax return, I would do, if you can do 3 or 4 principal payments and chunk that thing down, I would do it like that. So making one extra principal payment a year, that's all you really need to do. A month is a little aggressive. Maybe you do an extra every quarter, whatever feels comfortable for you. If you can do an extra principal payment a year, you chopping that down in 7 years. If you could do it an extra principal payment every a quarter, you still chopping that down. If you can do it once a year, you still breaking it down. So, and then create a 12. That's stellar. So the fourth thing is learn how to use your equity, HELOC and refinance education. So equity can be leveraged responsibly, not for vacations, for building wealth. So we talk about buying assets with the equity, okay? Something that's going to pay you back, because you have to pay that back when you do a HELOC. So when you refinance, it equals changing your loan. A HELOC, which is a home equity line of credit, is access to your equity as a credit line. So you have to pay that back. So you want something that's going to be bringing in more money to pay that back. So some homeowners use the HELOCs to renovate, consolidate high interest debt, or fund investments. I see people use it to pay college tuitions. I see people invest in the stock market. I've seen people do it to invest in crypto. So there's things you could do. A refinance at the right time can drop your payment, remove that PMI, which is that mortgage insurance that the mortgage company put on there if you have an FHA loan typically, or shorten your loan. So when you refinance, you got to refinance with a purpose. So get a mortgage strategy review annually. That's what you want to do. And then learn what you need, learn before you need it. So always know. So the fifth thing is building wealth with your own home is build your wealth team and long-term plan. This is what you're looking to do. Something's in my eye, Lord. So I know people always say, your home is a liability, it's not an asset, but you can turn it into a wealth building powerhouse by doing the things that I just told you to do. But wealthy homeowners don't just move along. They plan 1, 3 to 5 years ahead. You always got to anytime you're a homeowner, you got to think like an investor. You have to have an exit strategy, and you have to figure out how to make more money from it. Right. So you have to learn how to do that part of it. Hold on, y'all. Sorry. I got to put my phone on do not disturb when I'm on live. So for example, year one, you're stabilizing. You're stabilizing how you're going to pay, you're budgeting, you're putting your home repair fund together. Those are the things. Years 2 or 3, you're optimizing. Figure out how you can use your equity to do whatever it is that you want to do in the future. Years 5 and 4 and 5, that's when you take advantage of that equity and that appreciation and you go for it, you leverage it, you buy assets, you buy things that's going to increase in value. Your home can become a stepping stone for investing, legacy, and freedom. You can even use it to buy a business, but hopefully it's a business that's a smart business and not something that is going to cost you more money and not make you any money. That's the problem. So join an education platform first, an education first platform. I have a program. You can join other programs and get real strategy, not just advice from the internet, y'all, because you will hear so much noise from the internet. You'll be so confused. So join something that you know is going to be beneficial. There's a lot of like I said, I have my Pathway to Keys program. There's people on schools that has a program, all these different types of things, right? Hey, Ashley. So make sure that you get with a education first program. So this is exactly why I created my ebook, Journey to Your Castle. It walks first time home buyers from before and after buying, and it won't get you stuck in the home owning process, but it also helps you build wealth and not keep you from building wealth. And for those that want structure and personal guidance, my Pathway to Keys program helps you build your full home ownership and wealth plan step by step. It's your personal roadmap. So I have some tools. And if you're a homeowner watching this, I have a House Rich and Money Smart, How to Turn Your Home into a Wealth Building Powerhouse. That's my other ebook. That if you're already a homeowner and you're struggling, I'll help you get your finances all the way together to be able to do that. So if you're a new homeowner, congratulations. If you're a first-time homebuyer looking to be a homeowner, congratulations in advance. And just because I'm in Detroit doesn't mean that I cannot help you all across this nation. I know real estate agents all across the nation, from the West Coast, the East Coast, the South, the Midwest, the North. I know them. I created relationships with people. So if you want a wealth building tool and not a financial trap, I want you to grab my ebook, Journey to Your Castle, and apply for my Pathway to Keys program. My link is in my bio. It'll be attached to this video as well. Your house, your house is the beginning, okay? But what you do next will change everything. And that's how I fumbled my first home. And that's why I'm passionate about this. I don't want people to fumble their first home like I did my 4-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom starter home, right? 2,700 square feet. So I bid you adieu. Everybody have an amazing, beautiful, blessed day. Reach out to me if you have any questions. Have a great day. Thank you, everybody. My YouTube sphere.